So yesterday during stream, we were talking about the Horde and the Alliance and the storylines and everything right now, and we were all saying, where the hell are the Horde? Honestly, besides the Blood Elves, where are the Orcs and the Tauren and the Trolls and everything? Right now, we're in the raid, we just see Alliance characters everywhere. The Horde has completely abandoned their Horde allies. This is Silvermoon. This is technically a Horde capital city. It's being invaded, and the Horde seem pretty much absent for the most part. Where are they, says Doran. Why the Horde are completely useless in Midnight. Let's get into this one here.
Something really strange is happening. I mean, Silvermoon is being attacked by the biggest threat in all the history of Azeroth, a force that wants to break the fabric of the universe, objectively the largest threat to Azeroth ever, yet the Horde is completely useless. I mean, the elves are calling other elves to unite, the Light Army has been summoned, Alliance characters are leading the whole story, while the Horde just seems to be chilling around. Why?
You got literally, you have Suramar, who are like the newest addition to the Horde. They're helping, but the rest of the Horde is fucking around. What the hell's going on?
Is the Horde not sending all their best forces? Shamans, druids, warlocks, zeppelins, gunships, catapults, literally the entire arsenal. Sure, Midnight was a surprise attack, but you would imagine in such an existential threat, the Horde would be a lot more useful. What is going on? Warhammer, Red Dead Redemption, WoW, Game Time, Destiny, you can get...
Now, we all know why Thalissara's actually helping, right? She's freaking finger-popping Lorthamar in her free time, so that's why she's helping. But still, seriously, where the hell are the rest of the Horde at? Jesus. It's, again, Thall is just sitting in the desert probably looking at the sword. Guy's not even around. I haven't seen him in this entire expansion.
Something really weird is definitely happening in Midnight. Despite the elves being traditionally an alliance race, by this point in time, the Blood Elves are really a core Horde race, as they joined in TBC, and the modern Horde was formed only a few years before that. Since the Blood Elves have been an integral part of the Horde, they have been aiding the Horde in pretty much everything since, yet now that their kingdom is attacked in the biggest attack ever since the Scourge attack, the Horde is completely useless. I mean, right now the Light Army and many of the Alliance characters are leading the entire expansion.
Even the cinematic, the entire Light Army looks like they're fucking humans. And I think that basically the Light Army is, from what we've seen, is mainly Draenei humans, Kultirans, and we've seen, from the Horde side, we've seen Blood Elves. That's about it. So even the Army of the Light, it's like, well, okay, they summon all the Light users. Where the fuck are the Horde? There are Tauren Paladins. Like, there are Horde Paladins out there other than the Blood Elves, so what the fuck's going on?
These Light guys seem to also be not treating the Elves that well, and in a way they're kind of occupying them, which
Zandalari
kind of makes zero
trolls, too.
sense, seeing how big the Horde actually is, and realistically, people have been asking the right question. I mean, why is the Horde nowhere to be found? Realistically, the most commonsensical answer is that the entire ordeal in Midnight is a surprise attack, and through the Sunwell, the Light Army was summoned, and the entire expansion is happening in a very quick time frame. It is very much a battle against time,
quick.
but personally, I kind of call BS on that. While the Midnight attack was a surprise attack, and
I will say one side effect of the raid being launched in like tiers right now, and the fact that we just got March on Quel'Danas today, or yesterday, is it does make it feel like the story is moving really fast. Like, we just got the end game cutscene for the Void Spire, and then bam, now we're gonna get another one today when we finish out this raid. So it feels like the story is moving really quickly.
It catch the battles off guard. It is, after all, a continuation of the war within. I mean, we've all known about Zealot and her plan, what is going on in Khazakar, some really bad things that are happening right now, so it's not like Azeroth was peaceful and the entire army was like demobilized, and then Zealot and her Void army just fell from the clear skies. They just randomly spawned. I know it doesn't feel this way due to the build-up and the pacing so far, but technically, the Devouring Host, the Void Army that Zealot is leading, is the most powerful invasion force that ever attacked Azeroth. While subjectively, it definitely doesn't feel to be a threat on the level of the Scourge or the Legion, based on their goal and understanding of Azeroth and what is going on, it is the biggest threat ever, and personally, I find it really strange that the Horde is just chilling around while their core allies are being attacked. Now, it is understandable that we can't get like the whole organized force, all the ships, all the gunships and such, but when attacked like this, threatening the world's
And by the way, Lorthamar himself has really taken on like a very important leadership role with the Horde Council, right? Because the council's been kind of all fucked up lately. Don't forget, Gallywix is part of it at one point. He's gone. There's a lot of odd leadership ends that kind of haven't been met lately. And then Lorthamar's been like the one stable guy lately, right? He's been the one guy that's been kind of leading the Horde, making good decisions. We saw him in BFA kind of leading the way a lot of times. Him and Jaina were doing a lot of the big storyline tropes together. And now that he needs the Horde, like where are they? What's going on? Even even Kalia Menethil has shown up for shit. And she's like a freaking fringe leader at this point, and we haven't seen the main Horde leadership show up. What's going on here?
Soul itself and the whole world. You would
Blizzard just forgot them, maybe.
The Horde has enough mages, magic users, and such to at least send a more serious force. Right now, the main fighting force is the light army, and there are...
He should be war chief. I've actually called for that too. I think Lorthamar is the coolest and most experienced and best Horde leader out there right now.
Horde factions here such as Tauren Priests and the Dallari ones, but objectively, right now the Alliance is helping a lot more, significantly more. Furthermore, you can see the writing through the quest, and they're saying this, like, we need to find more armies, we need to reach out to the other elves to help us in this moment. Like, the Blood Elven first instinct is to call other elves and not the Horde that they're a core member of. I mean, remember...
I will say, Umbric and everything, I think they've done a really good job with him. Like, this guy was like a... nobody, side story. If you make a Void Elf, you know who he is. Otherwise, you don't really know much about him. Like, Blizzard somehow actually made the Void Elves really cool this expansion. They've always been like, oh, Blizzard just fucking put them in the game to give the elves to the Alliance too, right? And that's how it felt a lot of times. Now they don't feel so shoehorned in. Like, he's playing a major role in this expansion. He's freaking the reason we actually survived the entire explosion at the end of the Void Spire. So I think they've done a really good job with him, but they have not managed to anchor in any Horde characters. Again, that's another Alliance guy.
To help us in this moment. Like, the Blood Elven first instinct is to call other elves and not the Horde that they're a core member of. I mean, remember, the Blood Elves have helped the Horde pretty much everywhere, from Northrend to Pandaria to BFA. And here, I think we got a few problems, like a few lore problems, and also a few writing problems, so that this doesn't make that much sense. First of all, the entire Horde Council and Blizzard just following this kind of tired trope of single leader bad, multiple leaders good is a bit of a problem. I mean, they've been pushing this formula for almost all the other races. It looks like right now that's...
But you see, this is when a multi-leader council is a fucking problem. Right now we got an existential threat. You need complete unity of the faction. You need to unite against an enemy. You need fucking planning. You need correct leadership and everything else. You need a singular plan to get everybody on the same page. And they've got this fucking council of everybody holding hands. It's great for an orgy, but it's not great for a war. It's a problem right now. They can't fucking get their leadership straight. And like they said, Lorthamar went and got help from the elves instead of going to the fucking Horde Council.
Turning out to not be that good. I mean, sure, Garrosh was a dictator. He was a crazy guy.
I bet you Garrosh would have taken care of this fucking problem. That's right. Garrosh would have had the entire Horde at the fucking gates of Silvermoon ready to go. Yeah, too bad. He probably would have taken over Silvermoon after, too, and said this is for the orcs now, maybe. But Garrosh did nothing wrong.
He wanted to conquer the world, but remember when he ate the Savannas back in the day? I mean, he sent his Korkron, he fortified everything, the whole army. Well, the Horde Council is going to first get all the dozens of members to decide to finally send help to Silvermoon from being completely destroyed by the Void. I mean, we also have in Midnight Dialogue from Romet in the game, he says about how he wishes we could just throw orcs at this problem and fix it. But the real question is, why can't we just throw orcs at this problem? Now, people are giving this argument that the Horde is exhausted from BFA, the armies are not in the same shape or readiness, and while that is partially true, I mean, there is some truth to that, a big part is also BS. I think a lot of people forget that we've had 3 expansions since BFA. We also had a 5-year time skip in the lore. It's been like a decade since BFA. Seeing the Shadowlands happened, well, in the Shadowlands, Dragonflight was mainly contained to the Dragon Isles. The Horde definitely had enough time to...
And really, when you think about it, Thrall's really fucked up. I see comments about Thrall in the comments here. The whole thing with Garrosh that went down, He was literally yelling at Thrall during their Mak'gora, talking about how he fucking abandoned the Horde. He abandoned Garrosh in a leadership position that he wasn't ready for. And Garrosh called him out on that shit in the fight. Cayenne goes, thank you for the 6 months in a row, man.
Where is my founder's bottage? Sam really hates us.
You have it. You have it. You have a fucking founder's badge. What are you yelling at me for? It's right there, that number 1 next to your name. Thank you so much for the sub, though. I do appreciate it. As I said before, like, Garrosh was literally calling him out during the Mak'gora for being a bitch-ass leader and fucking up the Horde by leaving him in command before he was ready, before he was trained up for the position. And then what did Garrosh do out of that? He freaking thunder cheek clapped the shit out of Garrosh, fried his ass, and then just disappeared. And now he's back, and he's still not doing Horde leadership shit. He's become a real puss. That's what it is. He needs to freaking lead the damn Horde so they can get united against this Void threat right now, instead of letting the Alliance and the Blood Elves carry the day.
Replenish their supplies, replenish their manpower and such. Maybe not to full capacity, but it's not like BFA was literally...
I'm sure Thrall's going to have some role to play when the sword comes into account, but he needs to get the fuck out of Silithus. He needs to pull his dick out of the sand and get the hell over to Silvermoon to help the damn Horde right now.
A month ago, and then we are going off into this. I mean, it happened quite a while ago. I think the angle they're pushing is that Midnight is like the light and the void, and if you guys noticed, I mean, Blizzard really stopped doing faction-specific storytelling since BFA. It's mainly been about our expeditions and sort of uniting the factions, which is now starting to split a bit, and Midnight is all about elves and the light and the void, but so far it doesn't make too much sense. I mean, I know they're pushing this angle, and while the light army may be more effective in like containing the void, it's not like the Horde army can't do anything. I mean, we battled the Void on many occasions in the past without the priests and the paladins. I mean, sure, the first attack was a surprise one and it's a small time frame, but it's definitely possible to send some zeppelins. I mean, they shouldn't take more than a few days, portal in some special forces, get some very powerful individuals in there like shamans, druids, you know, people that can make like a big impact. Even crazier is that the entire Forsaken army is literally right next door. I mean, all they gotta do is just march up.
Right, I mean, yeah, you want to say, like, geography-wise, the Horde are kind of outcasts right now because they're all on Kalimdor. Where the fuck are the undead, at least? Right, where the hell are they? They're freaking right next door. The Undercity's the closest freaking city right now. I mean, I know they're probably not in the Undercity because that shit got blighted the fuck up. But they cleared it up, though. What am I saying? They're back. So why aren't they there? Damn undead not showing up to fight against the Void? What the hell?
They're on foot. They're not weak. I mean, they have returned their capital years ago. They have significantly strengthened themselves. I know the Forsaken are probably being saved for later, but you gotta admit, I mean, if you were a Blood Elf right now, you'd probably be pretty pissed off.
Man.
I mean,
You'd be
right
pissed.
now they're facing an existential threat. Pretty much the whole reason they even joined the faction in the first place. They sent elves to literally everything the Horde ever did. That, I mean, they could have easily
They'll come with
avoided
Sylvanas. I'll pull all this back. If we get a really cool, like, look to the east, you know, a Gandalf moment coming over the hills, you know, a fucking spear of light coming down, new army, bam, hits the void. That would be cool. If the Horde does, if Blizzard's planning to, like, reveal the Horde's entrance in some kind of magical way, maybe Sylvanas is leading the undead, as you said before, where, like, it's a final moment, shit's about to hit the fan, and then bam, all this Horde army shows up. That would be cool, but I just don't see it coming. I don't know. The last time we saw something like that was at the Wrathgate, where the Alliance was fighting, and they remember the orcs come down, the Horde comes down the side, and they're talking about, oh, fighting as Alliance and Horde together against the Scourge. That was a cool moment. We haven't seen anything like that, though.
Many of these conflicts just staying in Quotalas, and now, in times of need, they got to reunite with their long-lost Elven brethren. They gotta get saved by Turelian and the Army of the Light, and they're, like, literally occupying them in a way, and they're not even respecting their sovereignty.
You even got the boomer dad Turelian fucking showing up. What the hell?
Personally, I just think it's weird writing from Blizzard, as in they wanted to focus on revamping Quotalas and reuniting the elves, but they didn't kind of want to bother too much with the Horde army and just writing all these various Horde characters, especially since they created a Horde council and now they got like a dozen characters they gotta write. However, at the same time, they wrote this as like the universe-destroying threat that's not just a Silvermoon problem, so even further it makes zero sense why the Horde races are not sending literally everything they got to help. This is not like some regional border dispute. I understand the light specialty and the elves being able to deal more with the Sunwell stuff.
The Blood Elves are arrogant and not easy to convince them to beg for help. That is true. But and even if you play as Horde right now in Silvermoon, actually, if you're a troll or anyone else, you'll get like comments from the guards in the city talking about not nice things about trolls specifically. They really don't like trolls. If you didn't know that, they have a history against them. But that doesn't mean the Horde shouldn't show. Like, what are they waiting for, an invite? I mean, the Alliance showed up. I don't think the elves necessarily asked for the Alliance. They only asked for the Army of the Light point right here. Were the only ones that were really invited to battle. The Alliance just showed up. So, I mean, they don't need an invite. They should just fucking come.
But pretty much any army can help battle the Void Army. Any sort of manpower would help in this scenario. I mean, technically the undead by the lore are even more resistant to the Void than other races that we know of. And objectively, I don't think this Horde Council is really that great of a thing, honestly. I mean, sure, we might not need someone as crazy as Garrosh, but at least I feel like if this happened while Garrosh was a ruler, I mean, he would have sent the full army the exact same minute he heard the news, and the elves wouldn't have to be protected by like a quasi-light army led by a guy that was literally the main leader of the Alliance until yesterday. I'm certain the Horde is going to show up more as Midnight develops, but still, why is there no regional Horde force that was around Silvermoon anyway? Why didn't they call all the garrisons from the surrounding areas? So far, it just doesn't make too much sense. Thanks for watching. Check out the video on how we will actually lose in Midnight by clicking on the screen, and also subscribe to my brand new Witcher Lore channel by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, they really don't like the Void Elves either. That's true. Yeah, look, the Void Elves are showing up, and they're known. Like, they know that the freaking Blood Elves hate them. Literally banished them away. The reason why the Void Elves live where they do right now is because they were kicked out of Silvermoon for practicing Void magic. So, yeah, that's a good point. If the Void Elves are willing to show up to help the Blood Elves, then what the hell are the rest of the Horde doing? I don't know. I guess we'll find out down the line if they actually become relevant. Nice video overall from Doran.